Hi, and welcome back to Let's Talk People Pleasing. This episode is actually probably around a week later than what I would have liked, but that was because I've literally been ill for over 2 weeks during the Christmas period. So I'm only just starting to feel normal again. It was also my birthday yesterday, so it feels like now is the right time to do a little bit of a reflection on 2024 because it's been such a journey, like professionally and personally. I also want to share a bit about my goals and intentions for the year ahead to give you a bit of an idea of what's to come. But more importantly, I want to invite you to reflect on your own year too and think about what you want from 2025, what you want 2025 to look like for you. Because as people pleasers, we don't often spend enough time, do we, thinking about ourselves? Let's be honest. We're often always preoccupied about making sure we do what we can to keep everyone else happy. So, this is your invite to really have some time and space to think about what you've achieved, what maybe has held you back, and what you would like the future to look like for you. So, for me, 2024 looked like taking a big leap of faith and relaunching my business after around 6 years. I think I've been in private practice now. This was a huge moment for me because I really wanted to focus on stepping into a space that feels more aligned with who I am and the work I'm truly passionate about, which is working with people like yourselves who can relate to engaging in people pleasing type behaviors or thought patterns. And alongside the relaunch, I built my very own website, which I've always seen myself as quite a technophobe. So this was massive for me, really. And I'll be honest, there were moments when I just wanted to give up. It was far more complicated than I imagined, but seeing it come to life was so rewarding. And whilst it's by no means perfect, because I'll probably be continuing to tweak it and changing it this year even, it's just this tangible reminder of how much I've grown and what I'm capable of. Because back in the day, before I worked through my own people pleasing and my own low self esteem and all that stuff, I would have strived for perfection. I wouldn't have been happy unless I thought it was perfect. I would have been worrying excessively about what people might have thought of it, and I'd have that inner critic mocking my effort. But there was none of that this time because I'm able to utilize what I know and practice what I preach to keep all that in check. And then there's Instagram. Instagram. I've finally started to figure it out because navigating social media did not come and doesn't come naturally to me. It's been quite a steep learning curve, really. But in 2024, I finally learned how to make a reel and carousels and to share content that I hope resonates with you. And again, it was without that worry about what outsiders might be thinking of me and without that feeling of anxiousness about whether I'm posting the right thing or what if I'm saying the wrong thing and all that stuff that can go around our heads as we overthink and overanalyze. And as I reflect on that, I'm reminded that there's such a sense of empowerment that comes with this level of self acceptance and no longer being so preoccupied by what I might interpret onlookers to be thinking of me. And if you haven't already, come and follow along at Charlotte_Bailey_therapies. Now, one of the biggest pinch me moments in 2024 was being featured in several press publications as a psychology and mental health expert. So I was quoted in The Independent, iNews, Yahoo Finance, Stylist magazine, and lots more. And I even had a full article published in OK magazine. And it's been such an honour to share insights about psychology, mental health, and well-being with a wider audience and to just talk and write about the stuff that I'm so passionate about. And whilst this is my business, what I do goes far beyond being my job. And I do hope that comes across because within all of this, I'm so passionate about encouraging and empowering you to consider how amazing it would be for yourself to break free from these unhelpful patterns of thinking, unhelpful relationships, and unhelpful patterns of behaving. So you can really live life more confidently and just be more content with your life and happier in yourself, more accepting of yourself. Because as you know, if you've been listening to these episodes, I know what it's like to be held back by that stuff that's not resolved, that, underlying low self-esteem or anxiety that holds you back. And this year also marked the launch of this podcast and my YouTube channel. I honestly didn't expect the response. There's nearly, I think, like 1,500 downloads on the podcast alone. Getting positive feedback just means so much. So thank you so much if you have been listening and supporting this journey. And please do continue to spread the word to your friends or people you know that might find episodes helpful, because it all helps the podcast gain traction, and in that way, it also helps more people learn about how people pleasing is unhelpful and what they can do to change it. And I should also mention at this point, in the spirit of authenticity and being genuine, that whilst I've used what I know to stop people pleasing, there are still times when the old habits can show up, like that feeling of cringe when I released my first episode of this podcast and just feeling sick with nerves as I launched it all. The thing is, though, when you know the strategies that work, you can use certain techniques and tools to challenge the thoughts that are associated with the cringe, and to help yourself, help your body, help the nerves you feel physically not become overwhelmed and not turn into disproportionate anxiety, and to settle your nervous system. And on the subject of anxiety, I even filmed my first collaboration in London in 2024, and that experience was both terrifying and exhilarating. And past me, the anxious people-pleasing version of me, would never have put myself out there like that. I'd have been afraid of getting it wrong or being judged. But having worked through my own difficulties, I can honestly say that despite some nerves, I found it fun. I really found it fun and exciting. And rather than this fearful situation I felt like I was walking in, it was more this like exciting opportunity that I was embarking on. And I just loved that opportunity to try something new. And that's a lovely reminder of the powerful nature of therapy. And it has helped me really adjust the way I see myself in new situations. So these moments aren't just professional highlights, they're personal milestones as well. And looking back to 2024, what stands out most is that all these milestones were guided by my values, especially authenticity. And both professionally and personally, I've made it a priority, and I will continue to make it a priority, to stay true to who I am, to show up in a way that feels real and relatable, to continue to set boundaries and to protect that, and to create space for others to do the same. In the past, I'd have been sucked into the comparison trap that's so rife on social media like Instagram. And you might relate to how easy it is to start constantly questioning whether you are doing enough, whether you should or shouldn't post that thing, or, whether you're measuring up to other people. And 2024 for me was really continuing to practice what I preach and choosing to focus on my own journey, my own voice, and what truly matters to me, which is doing what I can to encourage and empower others and make a difference in the lives of the people that I work with. It's been so liberating to break free from good girl conditioning even more, and to let go of the pressure to be perfect or the pressure to follow someone else's path. And it's a reminder that when you stop comparing and start embracing your own unique strengths, you can achieve so much more and feel better doing it as well. As I've said, like, living authentically hasn't always been easy for me. Far from it. It's meant facing fears, stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things that scare me. Even in 2024, like posting that first reel, filming that first YouTube video when I was still figuring it all out and didn't have a clue what I was doing a lot of the time. It was proper daunting, but it was also so freeing to just do it anyway. And I want to invite you to reflect on this too. Are there areas of your life where you feel like you're holding back your true self? As I've been saying what I've been saying this episode, have there been moments where you've thought, oh, I wish I could do that, or I wish I didn't feel like so anxious. Maybe you're trying to please others or meet impossible expectations. Maybe you're living life how you think you should be living it rather than how you truly want to live it. So just consider, like, what would it look like to make one small step towards being more authentic or living life how you truly want to live it. And also consider, what are your proud moments from 2024? You know, they don't have to be big or public, but just take some time to really think about what achievements you've made. Maybe it's something deeply personal, like finally setting a boundary, or maybe you've been able to prioritize a bit of self-care in a way you haven't before. Just take a moment to really reflect and celebrate yourself for doing that. And if you're listening and thinking, I don't have anything big to celebrate, I haven't achieved anything, I'd really challenge you to just dig a little bit deeper, because sometimes we're so hard on ourselves. We're our own worst critics, as you probably know, having listened to these episodes. That can cause us to overlook the progress we have made. Remember to base an achievement on how difficult it felt to achieve, to do the thing, rather than how it might appear on paper. Did you face a fear or try something new, or even take the tiniest step forward or towards change? Because all that does matter, and it is worth acknowledging. And I'm sure you would encourage your best friend or a loved one to acknowledge that achievement. So as we step into 2025, I'm feeling like inspired and excited about what's to come. I'm actually itching to get back to work now after having time off, and I want to share a bit about what's on the horizon for me and my practice. And I really want to create spaces where people can come together, learn and grow, whether it's through workshops on overcoming people pleasing or teaching groups how to set boundaries. I want to make the work I do more accessible and interactive and more encouraging others to connect to like-minded people. I also would like to do some speaking events. Now, public speaking's always been a bit of a goal of mine. It's both terrifying and exhilarating, I think, but I know it's a powerful way to connect with more people and share ideas in a meaningful way. And you probably gather by now, like, how passionate I am about what I do, and just to spread the word with that. And I'd love to develop some self-study courses and guides that you can follow at your own pace if you aren't yet ready or you're not able to commit to one-to-one therapy as well. And expanding the podcast and YouTube channel, I'm excited to keep creating content that supports and inspires you. And I've got lots of guests lined up to talk about how they have overcome their own difficulties associated with people pleasing and things like good girl conditioning, and how their lives have been transformed and changed for the better because of it. And I suppose I've just got so many ideas of episodes and videos that I can do, and I can't wait to bring them to life for you. Now, there may be a little bit of a break in the podcast as I catch up on filming content for you from being poorly. Please know that there will be more episodes, and I want to involve you in shaping this next chapter as well. So as I plan workshops and events, and I'd love to hear from you. Like, what topics would feel most helpful for you? Is there something that you're struggling with that you'd like me to explore or talk about, or you want to know more about? Please do drop me a message on Instagram. I'm always open to ideas. And to be honest, you'd be doing me a favour too, because there's so much that I could cover. Sometimes I find it quite overwhelming when it comes to whittling it down. So when I put questions out on Instagram inviting you to answer them or to share what you want me to cover, I really do want your involvement in it and your feedback, because it really helps me. And as this episode comes to a close, just allow yourself to consider maybe like 2025 is the year that you could step further out your comfort zone. Take some time to think, what's one thing you've always wanted to try but fear or anxiety has held you back? And just let this be a reminder that you don't have to do things perfectly. You just have to start, and start wherever feels manageable for you. And I also just want to thank you for being here and for listening and for being part of this journey. Whether you've tuned into one episode or every single episode, your support means so much to me, and I can't really describe how much. It just really does. And let's go in 2025 with this shared intention to prioritise what really matters to us, living authentically and being kind to ourselves and making space for what brings us joy. And remember, you can set boundaries and you can say no to people, and you can still be the kind and considerate person that makes you you. I hope you found this episode helpful in just reflecting on your own journey in 2024 and what you want to get out of 2025. If you do feel that you're at that stage where you want to learn how to stop people pleasing and how to embrace yourself more authentically and have that support, I suppose, to step out of your comfort zone, head to my website, charlottebaileytherapies.com, and book in for that free initial call that I offer. There's no obligation to book any further sessions with me, but it will give you the opportunity to have a chat with me and to discuss how I can help. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you soon.